St. Lucia. Hot 7 TV, for the viewer and the advertiser. It just makes sense. We watch trending. Hot 7 TV. Catch us on channel 117 Flow, channel 7 Plug and Play, or our website www.caribbeanhot7tv.com and our popular Hot FM app.
To advertise on Hot 7 TV, call us at 452-6040 or email us at hot7@caribbeanhottv.com. A fantastic package awaits you.
Expressed on this TV program by the hosts, guests, and callers are solely their opinions and responsibility. They do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Hot 7 TV or its affiliates.
This is a paid political program.
The people feel so insecure.
Good evening, viewers. Good evening, listeners. Welcome to another episode of Like It Is with your host, Lenard Spider Montoute. And we are here once again this evening to bring it to you and to tell it to you like it is. On Like It Is, we are hard-hitting, we do not sugarcoat, and of course, we tell it like it is. On tonight's program, we are going to open the lines pretty early, where we will give you an opportunity to our viewers and callers and listeners, where you can call in for you to get an opportunity to tell it like it is. As always, as usual, before I go into our first segment, I want to read to you a quote that you'll be hearing quite a lot at the start of this program. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. A quote by Albert Einstein that reminds me a lot of the St. Lucia Labour Party. The St. Lucia Labour Party has carved a niche for themselves in being dishonest with the people of St. Lucia, and of course they have disdainfully and disrespectfully tell lies to the people of St. Lucia on just about every issue, on just about every matter. But here, we will shed light on the truth and we will tell you like it is. Tonight, we're going to start with our SLP segment, a segment called Secrets, Lies, and Propaganda. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just say that on tonight's episode, we are going to show you two separate occasions where the St. Lucia Labour Party, true to form, has lived up to their reputation. And I don't want you to think that it is only now that they have begun being dishonest with the people of St. Lucia. They have been doing so for quite a long time now. And of course, I will show you clips, historical clips, that will show you from way back. That has been the modus operandi of the St. Lucia Labour Party. So let's get into our segment of SLP, Secret, Lies, and Propaganda. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want to remind you of the occasion when the St. Lucia Labour Party made a big song and dance, big brouhaha over the issue of the selection of a deputy speaker. That was during the period 2016-2021. Now, before I go further into this, let me just read to you what our Constitution says on the issue of the appointment of a deputy speaker. And so I go to St. Lucia's Constitution on page 34, section 36, which reads, well, that is 36.1, it reads, when the House first meets after any general election of members and before it proceeds to the dispatch of any other business except the election of the Speaker, the House shall elect a member of the House who is not a member of the Cabinet or Parliamentary Secretary to be Deputy Speaker of the House, and if the office of Deputy Speaker falls vacant at any time before the next dissolution of Parliament, the House shall, as soon as convenient, elect another member of the House to that office. Now, let me just delve into this a little and break it down. First of all, let me just say too that the standing order of the House of Assembly of St. Lucia speaks to the issue of the selection of a deputy speaker in like manner. It's almost exactly the same language, but since the Constitution is the highest law of this land, I will stick to the letter of the law in the Constitution. First of all, the Constitution says the House shall elect a member of the House who is not a member of the cabinet or a parliamentary secretary to be deputy speaker. Now let's dissect this a moment. It says the House. Who is the House? The House comprises, apart from the speaker, at that point, the House comprises of 17 elected members. Back then, you would remember that there were 11 elected parliamentary representatives on the United Workers' Party side that formed the government, yes, and there were 6 members of the St. Lucia Labour Party that formed the opposition. Now, the Constitution goes further to say that the member who is elected as deputy speaker shall not be a member of cabinet or a parliamentary secretary. So, during the period when all the noise were being made by the St. Lucia Labour Party, in all of their hypocrisy and dishonesty, they were making it seem as if it was the United Workers' Party that refused to elect a deputy speaker. However, if you were to go according to the Constitution, there were no members of the House at the time on the UWP side who could have been elected as a deputy speaker by virtue of the fact that they all were members of cabinet. Now, that left you with 6 members of the opposition, one of whom was the leader of the opposition. So, okay, the leader of the opposition would be exempted. But then you would have 5 other members who were eligible to become deputy speaker. So it was then incumbent on the St. Lucia Labour Party, who was making all the noise, who carried on with all the song and dance. It was incumbent upon them for one of their members to step up and accept the election as a deputy speaker. But they refused. And I want to prove to you that they refused, because if you look at what we have in clip number 1, you'll realize what actually happened. So let's look at clip number 1 to see the hypocrisy of the St. Lucia Labour Party.
The mic is now on, so bring it back over to the House.
My apologies. Honorable members, please elect a deputy speaker. Honorable member for Gros-Islet.
Madam Speaker, in light of his long-standing service to this honorable House and his extensive experience and his background in legal matters, I would like to nominate the member for Beaufort South.
Honorable member for Beaufort South.
Madam Speaker, I am honored that the member for Gros-Islet, who has at least less experience than I have had in parliamentary matters, would be so generous and kind to nominate me for the position of Deputy Speaker. But of course, Madam Speaker, it is with alacrity that I decline his generosity.
Okay. So we saw here that I, at the time, as a member of the House, realizing that only the members on the opposition team, there were 5 of them who were eligible to become Deputy Speaker, I nominated the member at the time for Beaufort South, Dr. Kenny Anthony, who declined. Now, at the time he declined, and there were, you would not hear the banter that took place, the sidebars and so on, because it wouldn't come through the microphone. But at the time, some of their members felt that it was insulting, it was, like rude of me to have suggested that Dr. Kenny Anthony should and could. And at the time, I gave my reason why he was the one I nominated, because he had been a long-standing member. Other than the leader of the opposition, he had been the longest, of course, at the time, Stephenson King. He would have been the longest serving member of the House, and besides, he had a background in legal matters, so I thought that qualified him and made him an appropriate nominee for the position, but he then declined. And so any other member could have been nominated among the remaining 4, but none of them came forward, and they refused themselves to nominate anyone from their ranks to accept the position. But they went out there making it seem as if, and making it sound like it was the UWP's responsibility solely to appoint a deputy speaker, and that we were violating the Constitution of St. Lucia. Whereas, if anything, they were in a position to remedy that situation, and they refused to do it. So, fast forward a few years later, and let's see what happened in the House recently. Let's go to clip number 2.
So, Mr. Speaker, it's my honor and my privilege to nominate Dr. Kenny Davis Anthony as Deputy Speaker.
Okay, so you just saw the very same Dr. Kenny Anthony, Member of Parliament for Beaufort South, was nominated by the current Prime Minister to be the Deputy Speaker of the House, and he accepted. Now, before that was done, they went as far as to amend the Constitution to allow for an outsider to become a Deputy Speaker, to be appointed or elected as a Deputy Speaker. However, I guess because of public reaction to the fact that they would be increasing the public purse by bringing an outsider, when they, in fact, while they were chastising the United Workers' Party, who had 11 elected members, they currently have 15 in their ranks, 15. And so they recognized that it would not have been prudent, and so they ended up nominating Dr. Kenny Anthony, the very same Dr. Kenny Anthony who accepted and is currently the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly. The hypocrisy, duplicity, and deceitfulness of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know that being dishonest, telling lies is in the DNA of the St. Lucia Labour Party. And that's why the SLP stands for secrets, lies, and propaganda. But not only Prime Minister Pierre, not only Dr. Ernest Hilaire, not only Richard Frederick are guilty of repeatedly telling lies to the public of St. Lucia. There are some of them that you currently do not hear very often. There are some of them you hardly see coming out to speak publicly. But they too are more than just accomplices. They too are part of the clan, because that is, like I told you, their modus operandi. It is the way they do business. And despite their silence, they are the very same. They have the same mindset, and they practice the same deceitfulness, dishonesty, and they tell lies in the very same way. I want to pick on one of them at this moment, and later on we'll bring to light the others. But there's one of them who you hardly hear these days, who hardly comes out to say anything, and you would think that he is exempted from that malady of being dishonest. But no, I will take you back in time and show you that this gentleman, the member for Denry North, the Honorable Sean Edward, is no different to his colleagues. It is a trait of every member of the St. Lucia Labour Party. That is what they do. That is what they practice. And so I ask you now to view another clip. We'll start with clip number 3, so we can see for ourselves exactly what I am talking about as it relates to Sean Edwards.
We have a young man from the community of Grosile by the name of Dalton Polius. He has represented St. Lucia on the 15 level, on the 17 level, on the 19 level, and at the senior level. Every year, Dalton Polius and scores of young cricketers, they get an opportunity, an invitation to play cricket in the UK. These are young men who do not necessarily, Mr. Speaker, get employment in St. Lucia. So they profit the opportunity during the UK summer to go to the UK for about 5-6 weeks, and they make good money while they're up there to complement whatever little that they have. When we were in government, Mr. Speaker, we used to help them out by providing a plane ticket. Accommodation, food, and other living expenses in the UK would have been theirs to meet, Mr. Speaker. For 2 years, Dalton Polius, knocking on the doors of the government, asking for a ticket to go and play his little league cricket in the UK, where he is killing 2 birds with 1 stone. He gets to refine his skills to better equip him and prepare him to represent the national team. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, it is a form of livelihood for him. On both occasions, Dalton Polius has been turned down. And there are a number of other young sportsmen and women in this country who come and they tell those stories. And it breaks my heart. And this is not a blame game. All I am trying to do here this morning, Mr. Speaker, is to give expression to the concerns of those young sportsmen and women whose parents and the family structure do not enable them to have the means. They're not like some where the parents can pay a ticket for their children and accompany their children on meets overseas, especially in certain sporting disciplines. But these same athletes, when they do well on the international stage, we are always happy to be parading them and trying to make mileage on their achievements. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, this is wrong.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I go to the next clip, I just want to expose the bold-faced dishonesty and deceitfulness of those members of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Now, here you heard Sean Edward beating his chest and making claims of what he had done for young sportsmen in this country. And in the end, people like us and the UWP were trying to make mileage of the young people when they achieve and when they succeed. I mean, never mind what he's saying there is only a reflection of their behavior. Because you heard them when Julian Alfred achieved her great feat at the Olympics. They claimed that she was a product of the St. Lucia Labour Party, and likewise Darren Sammy. And Ernest Hiller went as far as to say that for her to succeed, the St. Lucia Labour Party has to be in office. And these are the things that they do, try to make mileage of those things. They are the ones guilty of it. And at the same time, they will tell bold-faced lies, okay? Come out and be openly and brutally dishonest to your face, you know, in trying to make political mileage. So let's expose Sean for who and what he is, because I had a response in the House then to what he said. Let's play clip number 4.
To take praise and lay blame, you have to be careful that we do not misrepresent the facts. The member for Denry North said, and he gave an example to substantiate his point. He said, for example, that Dalton Polius had not received assistance from the government of St. Lucia, and that he was turned down when he sought assistance from the government of St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, I did not want to interrupt him and to stand up and object, but I'm saying to you, Mr. Speaker, that that was a false statement. Mr. Speaker, since I became parliamentary representative for Gros Islet this term, Mr. Dalton Polius has had reason to come to me for assistance, and he received assistance. Mr. Speaker, if you wish, I don't want to make my phone a document of the House, but I have here a WhatsApp message from Mr. Dalton Polius. Thanks for the assistance, Mr. Montoute. I booked my flight and I will be leaving on Monday. That was sent to me on June 29, 2018. Now, how does that stack up against what was said? I don't know. But let me tell you what the truth is now, Mr. Speaker. This same Dalton Polius, when I was sports minister, I recognized the talent in him, and we embarked upon a program called the Elite Athletes Program. And one aspect of that program was to take some of those elite athletes, provide them with employment. So they would go to the schools and do some coaching and inspirational and motivational speeches and so on, and that they would schedule their timetable themselves to facilitate their training and their travels, and when they come back to St. Lucia, they go back to the sports ministry and they have a job. He fired that same member for Denry North, became sports minister subsequently, and fired every one of them, including the same Dalton Polius that he's advocating for right now. Mr. Speaker, that is the truth. That is the reality. So when people are beating their chest, you let them do it sometimes because, you just don't want to engage, in those kind of things. Now, Mr. Speaker, and to talk about athletes who do not get support from the government, Mr. Speaker, the cabinet of the United Workers' Party, headed by the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Alan Chasney, met last month or 2 months ago, and approved economic costs for a young man by the name of Jonel Eugene because he is a national sports personality, he is a national cricketer. They endorsed economic costs, that kind of support for him to go to the University of the West Indies to pursue his studies. Now this Jonel Eugene, he has pedigree, Mr. Speaker. He is the son of John Eugene. John Eugene, one of our outstanding cricketers in this country, one of the most talented cricketers that I have ever seen. The best cricketer never to play test.
What constituency is
he? He comes from the constituency of Groseley. Mr. Speaker, John Eugene has captained West Indies B before Darren Sammy. This was the individual who had gone the furthest. Recognizing his talent, his passion and his involvement, after his heyday in cricket, he got involved in coaching. He got involved in coaching. He got involved in coaching. He was during your time. He got involved in coaching, Mr. Speaker. Started his own academy, John Eugene Cricket Academy. I saw the ambition, the passion, and the involvement of the young man. I put him in the league of people like Stuart Charles. So Stuart Charles, in his case, it's football. These people breathe, talk, work, everything is about their sport. I said we cannot waste that talent. We brought him into the Ministry of Youth and Sports as a cricket coach. The fact that I brought him in, and he's from my constituency, and I tell you truthfully, Mr. Speaker, I had no clue what the man's politics is. I suspect what it was then, but that was not a criteria for me. And so I ignored that, and we brought him in because of his ability as a coach. But because that was done, the interpretation was that he is one of mine. As soon as the member for Denry South, the member for Denry South brought him back, sorry. As soon as the member for Denry North became sports minister, he was fired as a coach. Thankfully, there's a member from Denry South who is now sports minister. He is back in the ministry. That is what your record is. Don't come here beating your chest and playing as if, well,
Holier than thou.
Yes. So, now, he also spoke about Crafton and Martinez, two outstanding curators. I want you to hear that, member for ancillary. Through you, Mr. Speaker. Two outstanding curators, because you're familiar with those gentlemen. I know they're your friends. You know their politics too. That is not for me to look about. I made a pledge on my platform that I will be the UWP candidate, but a Groseley representative, and I will represent every individual in my constituency. Mr. Speaker, when the UWP administration was in office, with all the proclamations about locals and pushing locals and everything like that, I, as sports minister, was threatened when I decided for the 2007 World Cup, Cricket World Cup. 2007 Cricket World Cup, the preparations were done before my time. When I came, everything was in place. 2010 Cricket World Cup. That's not how we operate. And that is not because I didn't know his politics, Mr. Speaker. That is not because I didn't know his politics. I did not fire the member for Castro South. We do things based on merit, based on ability, and I've said so before. He was doing a good job, so I kept him. Mr. Speaker, I was told, however, by the member for Castro South, who was then CEO, CEO of World Cup Cricket, that I had to engage a firm called Terra Firma out of Trinidad. I don't tell tales out of schools, you know. When I call names too when I say what I'm saying, because I can substantiate what I'm saying. I was told that I had to engage a firm called Terra Firma out of Trinidad to do the ground preparation for 2010 World Cup. I said, hell no. We have a young man in St. Lucia who has been acclaimed in the region, has been outstanding, has been very competent, very capable. I said, these are the opportunities we must give them to better themselves so that today, a member from Denver North can say he's one of the best. So, ladies and gentlemen, I deliberately allowed those clips to go on to show you that this is not just a novelty of the St. Lucia Labour Party. It has been going on from times. That is their modus operandi. They have gotten away with it, but the time has come where we must expose their lies, call them out for what they are, and ensure that we put an end to that kind of leadership, the leadership that you have where your leaders in this country disdainfully, disrespectfully look you in the eye and tell you lies, deceive you, and be dishonest to you. That has to stop. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was another segment of Like It Is, another segment of SLP. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just let the segment end before we go for a break. And before we go to a break, I will let you know what our phone numbers are, because when we come back, we'll be taking your calls.
Tout a bouche, you say lie, un ballon, you say lie, and a bag, you say lie, and a posh, you say lie, it's lie, 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 when they sitting in parliament. Can't take it any longer, can't take it no more, the people feel so insecure. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is, we no love more than my live, love more than my live. We gotta make it our business, our brothers and our sisters, they are being killed. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is, we no love more than my live, love more than my live. We gotta make it our business.
Here's your guide to installing Hot 7's digital antenna.
Please note that all TV sets manufactured today have a digital tuner. TV sets manufactured before the year 2005 may not have a built-in digital tuner, and you may not be able to receive our free-to-air digital transmission on Channel 7 to receive our free over-the-air digital HD TV service. Number 1. Plug your antenna into your TV set's RF input jack labeled antenna or cable in. Number 2. You will now have to scan for the digital channel. Please note that all digital TVs are different in terms of scanning procedures. The following is a general guide, but the steps or the terminology may be different for your device. Press the menu button on your TV remote. Go to Setup or Settings. Go to Installation or System or Channels. Go to Scan Channels, Program Channels, Auto Scan, Auto Program, or Auto Tuning. Press Select or Enter or OK to start the scan. When the device says scanning is complete, accept the channels found and close the menus.
Mourning a loss? Hot 7 TV wants to help you celebrate the beautiful memory of your loved one with In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, or some memorable occasion, or the anniversary of the passing of the dearly departed, Hot 7 TV will create a moving video tribute of that special person, showing how much he or she meant to you. Treasured memories, unforgettable moments. Share them with the world and repeat the airing as often as you'd like. Help keep your loved one's memory alive forever in the minds and hearts of all who care. In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Contact us at telephone number 452-6040 or email us at inlovingmemory@caribbeanhottv.com.
stops on. The feeds have gone nowhere, but the ball has found the woodwork.
Absolutely huge from the Briton. It's been coming for a long time. If she's broke that magical 7-metre line.
Goes for it. It's beaten the man, square leg. Well, that will do it. 8 scores of 200 or more for Brian Lara.
Usain Bolt storming through, he takes it again, Blake gets the silver.
Play of the day for the Heat. Darren Jules.
Unforgettable moments in sports. Sports classics during the Hot 7 Nightly News.
Can't take it any longer, can't take it no more. The people feel so insecure. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We don't love how them a live, love how them a live. We gotta make it our business. Our brothers and our sisters, they are being killed. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We don't love how them a live, love how them a live. We gotta make it our
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to Like It Is. And in this segment, we're going to take a slightly different turn. I want to inform you, for those of you who do not already know, of what is going to take place tomorrow. I more than expect another insult to the people of St. Lucia. That is going to be dished out to you by Dr. Ernest Hilaire tomorrow, who claims that he is going to be presenting a report to Parliament on the CIP. Now, before I open the lines, I have something to say on this. We are going to get a report tomorrow in Parliament on CIP. But before we talk about that, let's talk about presenting reports to the House. The legislation on CIP, the legislation put in place by the St. Lucia Labour Party to govern the conduct of the CIP program, states that the CEO or the CIP unit has to present annually to the minister responsible for CIP, that is Dr. Ernest Hilaire, a report no later than 3 months after the end of the financial year. Now, let me pause for a moment. The financial year in St. Lucia is from April 1st to March 31st. So, starting from March 31st, the 3 months would be April, May, June. So before the end of June, the CIP unit ought to present to the minister an audited report of the work of the CIP unit over the last year. The minister then in turn has to present to the Parliament of St. Lucia in not more than 3 months that report that has to be tabled and distributed to other parliamentarians. Now, it means that if he has to receive that report by the end of June, so he has July, August, September. So no later than the end of September, the minister has to present to Parliament, according to law, a report on the work of the CIP for the last year. And that year would be from April 1st to March 31st. Now, what obtains at the moment? Between April 1st, 2022 and March 31st, 2022, we should have gotten a report presented by the minister responsible for CIP, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, before the start of October 2022. Up to today, what is it, 21st of October, that report has not been presented. Secondly, he ought to have presented a report that would cover the work of the CIP from 1st of April 2023 to the 31st of March 2024. That report should have been presented to Parliament before October this year, or to put it otherwise, by the end of September this year. That report has not been presented. So as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, the minister responsible for the CIP has broken the laws governing the CIP by not having presented reports for 2 consecutive years, for which the time is long overdue. In the case of the report for 2022-2023, your maths is better than mine. It is more than a year. A year elapsed last year, September. Okay? A year elapsed last year, September. For this year, rather from 2023, 1st April 2023 to 31st March 2024, the time has already elapsed again. The time has passed since the end of September. We are now the 21st of October, and none of those 2 outstanding reports have been presented. And so when the minister, upon being questioned by Lisa Joseph, who is, I must say, doing an outstanding job as a journalist, she's outstanding, and she has distinguished herself as a journalist, one who really is interested in what is happening and bringing the truth and the issues to the people of St. Lucia. And I commend her for a great job that she's doing. When she asked the minister questions about the CIP, he asked her to wait until tomorrow, because there'll be a sitting of the House tomorrow, Tuesday, the 22nd of October, where he'll present the reports. Now, I would have thought, given the fact that 2 reports for 2 years are now outstanding, or have been overdue for 2 years, reports for 2 consecutive years have been overdue. I would anticipate that, given the fact that it's that late, he would have presented both reports to the House. But no, he is coming to lay before the House the report of 2022-2023. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do not get too excited. When I say he's going to lay the report, there is a segment of the agenda of the House of Assembly. Before everything begins, there's that, after prayers and so on, there's a segment called Statements by Ministers. So Dr. Ernest Hiller will stand tomorrow and make a statement about the report that he's tabling to the cabinet, to the Parliament, sorry. Unfortunately for us, that is not a matter that will be debated in the House, where the other members will have an opportunity, especially the members of the opposition, because we know the members on his side will have nothing to say but endorse whatever it is, whether crooked, whether wrong, whether dishonest, they will endorse it. But the members of the opposition, who is supposed to be there for the checks and the balances, will not have an opportunity to question the minister. And I'm not saying that is anything out of the ordinary. This is the procedure of the House. Knowing that that is the case, and knowing who we're dealing with, and I'm going to tell it like it is, Dr. Ernest Hiller is not a trustworthy person. Dr. Ernest Hiller has lost the trust of the citizens of St. Lucia. Dr. Ernest Hiller has been embroiled in too many scandals, controversies, and allegations of corruption for us to trust that gentleman. And so, to simply take his word at face value is asking for too much from the public of St. Lucia. Dr. Ernest Hiller has lied to us, bold-faced. We know he's a dishonest person, and he has lost our trust. And so what is expected of Dr. Ernest Hiller, especially with all the accusations and allegations swirling over his head and about the CIP program, given the fact that that CIP program is in US courts, okay, because of allegations of illegality and corruption, what we want is for Ernest Hiller to place himself before a panel of journalists from St. Lucia at a press conference and to answer the questions that we St. Lucians want to hear. That is what we are demanding of you no less. To go with your charade that you will put on tomorrow, that is not acceptable, that is not adequate, that is not enough. Your reputation precedes you, sir. We cannot trust you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, given the fact that Dr. Ernest Healy, for 2 years, has gone past the deadline in presenting a report, one of the questions I must ask is why? Is there something being hidden? Do you have something to hide? Why does it take you, in the case of 2022-2023, more than a year after the deadline to present the report? Why, despite the fact that you were given 3 months after receipt of the report from the CIP unit, you are still late with this year's report, so much so that you're presenting 2022-2023, but you cannot present simultaneously the report for 2023-2024. I know why. I know why. So, I have not had the time to scrutinize the report that you'll be tabling before the Parliament. But bet your bottom dollar that we, the opposition, will go through that report with a fine-tooth comb to uncover all the lies and deceit, all the corruption that is being covered. And so, we know too that there is something called lies by omission. We will be questioning the things that you leave out from that report as well. And so, tomorrow, do not think for a moment that you will come there and address what it is that you want to address, touch on the subject that you want to touch on, and think that you'll be exonerated by that charade. We will not accept it. I can see your deceitful, dishonest colleagues banging the table as you speak, and with all your bravado beating your chest while you lie. I am telling you, that is not acceptable. And talking about that, what will happen tomorrow? I want to stop at this juncture to say to St. Lucians, I, Lenard Spider Montoute, will find myself present outside the House of Assembly because I am concerned about what is happening. I am concerned about the future of this program. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the CIP program, it is one of the cash cows that could have brought to us much needed resources, okay, of a magnitude that we have not seen before. And when I'm hearing of billions of our dollars being squandered, billions of our dollars not being accounted for, so we are holding you responsible, and you have to provide us with the relevant answers to the questions that you are going to be asked. You have to subject yourself to a press conference where the media of St. Lucia will be asking the pertinent questions on our behalf for you to give honest answers to us as far as our CIP program is concerned. It is not for you to determine what you disclose and what you don't. And so talking about accountability, just a moment, before I go into accountability, I was told that we have a caller. This is our first caller for the night. Caller, I would like to welcome you to Like It Is. You have an opportunity right now to tell it like it is. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I'm just curious. You know, I'm listening to you there. I wanted to find out something because, I wasn't around at that time. I was out of the area. I wanted to find out whether any CIP reports were tabled between 2016 and 2021.
Every single year, sir. Every single year. And do not take my word for it. I used to be a politician, and with the reputation of the current, with the practice of the current politician, I know the reputation of all politicians is in question. Don't take my word for it. Go to the CIP website and see for yourself.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Now, I was talking about accountability. I want to look at the chairman's report, here, because there's a section here that came from the chairman. Now, by the way, on the question of the chairman, up to now, we do not know whether or not Lon Theophilus is still the chairman. We do not know whether or not he has resigned. And the minister to whom, if he has resigned, would submit his resignation, when asked refuses to answer the question. It is our business, sir. It is our business. It is our program. It is our money. It is our citizenship. It is our passport. You know, you cannot be so arrogant and disdainful to the people of St. Lucia to think that we put you in charge of overseeing our program and you turn around and treat us with such disrespect, or you think you do not have to account to us. You owe it to us to account to us, and you have to answer that question tomorrow, whether Lon is still the chairman of the CIP. I think we have another caller, and I don't want to keep my callers waiting too long. Caller, welcome to Like It Is. This is your chance to tell it like it is.
Yeah,
go ahead, please.
Right. Spider.
Yes, sir.
All right, I heard you say, like, they have corruption in the CIP.
And you heard me right.
Yeah. So, but you all have not proved the corruption for up to now.
Well, you're probably a little too hasty. There is a case, a RICO case in the U.S. courts, where listen to me, where the people accused will have a chance to prove their innocence if they are innocent.
Yeah, it's not now. I heard that work was going on. It's over 5 months already. I heard the man every day on talk show talking so and so.
Okay, for your information, court cases do take a while, and you are aware of that too.
Alan Chaffee said he went to Washington. He'll bring the evidence down. I never seen the evidence.
Oh, Alan Chaffee, you're asking for evidence. You need to ask the person who is in charge of your program, who has the stewardship of your program. He is the one who owes you evidence. He is the one who should be telling us that what Philip Martinez is saying is not true, and that it is fabricated, and provide us evidence that it is not so. He owes that to us.
The man said he was going there to bring, he went to bring the evidence down. That's what I was looking for.
Now, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. You concerned about Alan Chastanet saying he going to Washington. Are you not concerned about your money that cannot be accounted for in the CIP program? Are you not concerned about your citizenship that is being sold to people with checkered histories, people who are known criminals that your minister is associating with? Aren't you concerned about that?
No, but
ask me about that. That's what I want you to ask me about. We're talking.
Yes, I'm concerned about everything that's wrong in the country. I'm concerned about. But you all said that they have corruption, but up now you all have not, because when you was in power, they were about to say corruption. Look now they're in power. Everything is corruption, and nobody never bring the corruption to life. Nobody never caught. I mean, every time it's the same thing. You all say corruption. Everything is corruption. And nobody not seen the corruption.
Okay, caller, thank you. But let me just say this to you. The Labour Party made many claims, many allegations. They appointed a special prosecutor who has been sitting at a desk, and I do not know. You might be able to tell me what he is doing. He has not moved a finger. He has not I have not seen a stroke of the pen from him. I have not heard a word from him. That is the part of the bluff. The St. Lucia Labour Party appointed an investigator called Lindquist to investigate Guy Joseph, spent millions of dollars. Up to now, they cannot give us a report. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't if they believe genuinely that there is corruption, but when the investigation is carried out and you find nothing, just like you were bold enough to accuse the gentleman, you need to come out and exonerate the gentleman, indicate that you have found nothing on him, and apologize to him. And I want to say to you that every minister of government is accountable to the people of St. Lucia, and during their stewardship, they are responsible for telling us what is taking place with our business. We don't want the government telling reporters when they ask questions on our behalf that it is not your business, do not go there, and I'm not answering questions. That is not acceptable in a democracy, and we will not stand for that. Simple and plain. And I will be by the House of Assembly to indicate that I am one of the St. Lucians who does not stand for that. Go ahead, caller. I think we have another caller on the line. Welcome to Like It Is. Tell it like it is. We lost the caller. Okay, so let me just talk about accountability, and I want to read from the chairman's report. Under the heading accountability, here's what the chairman had to say. Accountability mechanisms such as due diligence, checks on applicants, third-party audits of investments, and reporting requirements are essential to maintaining the credibility and legitimacy of our programs, and we continue to work closely with key stakeholders in the management of such. Okay? I will come back to that. We have a caller on the line. Caller, please go ahead. Welcome to Like It Is. Tell it like it is.
Yeah, how it is. I'm telling you how it is. Here, how long the hospital building have been taken care of?
Okay, the hospital got burned in 2009, and the construction started sometime after that. So it's, I would say, somewhere in the region of 14 years, let's say.
And how many times you all was there present at the time the hospital had burned?
1.5.
1.5?
Yes, that's correct.
But not naturally, in St. Lucia, St. Lucians don't put their head together. St. Lucians fight down each other.
I really thought you were making a point, caller. Okay, since you're not making a point, let me make a point. When the last United Workers' Party government left office, we began a brand new state-of-the-art hospital, world-class hospital, with helipad on top of it and first-class facilities in it. The Labour Party came into office. They themselves, before they left, said what they left, all that was needed was a coat of paint and some chemical. We started a brand new hospital, and we were saying that in 6 months it could have been completed. Had we been returned to office, we'd have completed in 6 months for very little, and the patients would, like for 50 million, just over 50 million, $50 to $70 million, and the patients would be returned to the hospital. It is 3 years since the St. Lucia Labour Party is in office. They have borrowed over $200 million, and we still have patients at the George Odlum Stadium under worse conditions than we ever saw in our lives, to the extent that our medical practitioners are unable to bear anymore. And we have people dying unnecessarily. That is the current situation. That is what I want to take issue with. So, caller, if you have had something to say, I mean, bring out your point. And so, I make no apologies for saying what I'm saying here, because what I'm saying here is fact. And as long as you speak in the truth as well, so you have no problem with us saying like it is. But you have to tell it like it is. Don't make up stories here. Don't follow the example of our current leaders that are in office, where they come and watch you in the eye and tell you lies. So let me go back to the chairman's words. The part that says reporting requirements are essential to maintaining the credibility and legitimacy of our programs, and we continue to work closely with key stakeholders in the management of such. Mr. Chairman, among the key stakeholders, you forget the minister. Mr. Minister, your own chairman is saying that that reporting is a key requirement to maintain the credibility and legitimacy of our program. So you have destroyed the credibility and legitimacy of our CIP program, Dr. Ernest Hiller. You have destroyed our program. And you have taken over a year to report for 2022, 2023. And now you have passed the deadline for 2023, 2024. Why? Is it something you have to hide, sir? Is it the usual scam that is taking place that you want to cover up? Tell us, and when you go to the House, you have to answer those questions. That is what we want to know. We want to know more of the hedging, the ducking, and the playing of games. I'm not going to sugarcoat it to you, sir. You have been very dishonest, very disrespectful, very disdainful to the people of St. Lucia. You need to stop it. You are our servant, and you have to understand that. And you have to begin to realize that you have to. It's not a request, it's a demand. You have to account to us for our CIP money, for our passports that you have sold to foreigners, including some of whom that are criminals. I think we have another caller on the line. Caller, please, welcome to Like It Is. Please go ahead and make your contribution. Tell it like it is.
Yes, Mr. Montoute, I wanted to tell it like it is. I heard you talk about the disregard for journalists and all of this. Do you remember Mr. Joseph telling a journalist that he has nothing to say to an ex-convict?
Could you speak a little louder, please?
Do you remember? I heard you talk about the disregard for journalism and all of this.
And you're familiar with what I'm talking about, aren't you?
Do you remember?
No, but aren't you familiar with what I'm talking about?
I'm just listening to you. I'm listening to you. I may not be able to concur with you.
You want to ask me a question, but you don't want to answer questions?
I may not agree with you, but I'm asking your question.
So am I. I'm asking you a question as well.
Would you permit me to ask you a question?
Could you speak up a little, please?
I said, would you permit me to ask you a question?
Go right ahead.
Do you remember Mr. Joseph saying to a journalist that he would not speak to an ex-convict?
Do I remember Mr. Joseph
saying to a journalist that he will not speak to an ex-convict?
Yes, I remember that.
Say it like it is. Was that not blatant disrespect and disregard for a journalist?
Well, you see, sometimes you have to take the context, because that cannot be treated in isolation. You must first ask what transpired between the journalist and Mr. Joseph to lead to that.
No. I don't know what transpired between
Well, then you should find out. You should find out.
I'm watching.
No, you should find out.
No, I don't want to find out their personal business.
Oh, well, if you don't want to know, well, don't get involved in their personal business.
No. I'm watching.
Well, don't get involved in their personal business. I'm telling you, you bring up an issue. I'm telling you to find out what transpired prior to the incident that you're referring to. You tell me about personal business. Well, if it's personal business, don't bring it to like it is.
But that was not their personal business then. That was public business. And also, I remember Mr. Shastney blatantly disregarding a journalist. So we need to be clear on all of these things. We need to be clear what is good for the goose is good for the gander. What is wrong for the goose is also wrong for the gander.
Okay, so tell me what's wrong for the gander now.
What's that?
Tell me now what is wrong for the gander.
What is wrong? No, what I'm saying is
have you finished making your point, sir?
If what you are saying is
correct, have you finished making your point so that I can say what is wrong for the gander?
No, I'm saying if what you are saying, no, I'm not through. If what you are saying is correct.
If what I'm saying is correct, you don't know that it is correct?
I don't know.
I show the clips all the time, you know.
I don't know.
So you only join the program during the comment section?
Mr. Montoute, clips are being shown conveniently, you know.
Yes, exactly. I'm conveniently showing it because I want St. Lucians to see the disdain with which they're being treated by the government.
But listen to me. I'm watching, I take a lot of note at what you guys say.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that.
From the opposition. And I want to refer to one incident. The Prime Minister being referred to in the way that he was referred to by Mr. Joseph. Don't you think that warranted an apology? You mean we have so many young people watching? I'll be honest with you, I cannot even take my young children to watch these activities with me.
Okay, caller, wind up your contribution. We have other callers. We can't have you all night.
I'm just saying that you need to be clean, straight, and honest with us. We are not blind, and we are tired of y'all not dealing with the policies.
I need to be clean, straight, and honest. And that's what you can take. That's what you can deal with. Okay, thank you, caller. Okay, caller. Thank you very much. Let me be clean, straight, and honest now. You have a government that is very disdainful and disrespectful to the population of St. Lucia. You have a prime minister who, apart from making very many ridiculous, outlandish statements, tells lies openly, and when those lies are brought to his attention, when those statements are brought to his attention, he openly denies them. That has happened on several occasions. I've shown clips to that effect. I mean, I saw Andre Paul in an interview with the Prime Minister where he denied, he said that if the Labour Party government were to be in office, they would have given 1.5. He denied that, and so on. So there are clear examples. So if you want me to come clean, straight, and whatever he said, I will do that. That's the purpose of Like It Is. I think we have another caller on the line. I noticed that I have hit a nerve tonight. But that's the way it is. I'm telling it like it is. Caller, you have an opportunity for you to tell it like it is as well. Go ahead. Welcome to Like It Is.
Mr. Montoute, good night, sir.
Good night to you, sir.
You have a lot of patience with those guys that speak a lot of garbage.
No, well.
As for the peace supporters, all they does is speak garbage every day.
Well,
I never heard of people.
They are being fed with an overdose of that from the government, so. You know, they have the appetite for it.
So everything you're fed you swallow? Let's say that. Deputy Prime Minister and Prime Minister, Joe Kapir, They were invited by Mr. Martinez to the U.S. to come and see what he has. They wouldn't go. And the great man, the world's greatest leader, Sir Alan Michael Shasta, he invited the great man went with Dr. Guy Joseph, see what they got, and they want them to come back and report to St. Lucia. No, you don't have to that anyway. Tell them go up there, find a backside that they're going to see what about. Alan Shasta is no moose boy. These guys, Sir Martinez told us, those guys have $4 billion that belongs to us. $4 billion for me. Okay? And then they're talking a lot of crap. When the great man put $7 million down to save their lives during the COVID-19 pandemic, put money on the line because you cannot get that medicine, whatever, from nowhere else, to save their lives. And they're talking a lot of nonsense. And the money is safe because the great man put the money down to has property in St. Lucia that's worth more than $7 million, and he paid back half, and we know where the other half is. But we want to know now where the $4 billion. Bunch of idiots. You're like Jim Jones. You belong to Jim Jones' crew. You're so damn stupid. Come and talk about Shasta do this. That guy deserves insulting. What are we, because they really deserve insulting? What are you talking about? Huh? Because they was rude. If I would be so nice to Mikel, I'd be last year with him. You better believe it. When those guys come on, you talking garbage, Mr. Montoute, when those guys tell you don't want to hear the crap, don't hear garbage, tell them make sense. Because SFP supporters just they don't make sense. They're just stupid. They're dumb, bastard, and stupid.
Callers is good. Caller is good to let them expose themselves sometimes, you know. I mean, I'm under no illusion that because of the things that I'm saying, that members of the Hack Pack will call, you know, and want to defend their party, because some people are no longer interested in the interest of the country. They're just interested in defending the party and protecting the victory, and they don't even care if they lose their own lives with a government that is not interested in protecting them. You know?
I mean, if they're calling and making sense, I can understand. I have never heard, probably once out of 1,000 times, you have an SFP supporter make sense on the airways. Do they know that there's this telecast all over the world? That's embarrassing my country. The government alone, the Bogus gang, the communist SFP Bogus gang, John B. government, a lot is already making us embarrassed. They like taking people to court. Why don't they take Martinez to court? Huh? Take the great Martinez to court. Everywhere Unless goes, he's accused of dipping his hand in the cookie jar. Everywhere he goes. And he'll come talking a lot of bullshit to me. Make sense, go somewhere and lie down. Take a drink something and
okay, caller, let's not be too long. Let's allow other callers to call in as well.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Don't take no nonsense to those guys. They're just stupid. They make no sense.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. Thanks for your contribution. And while I await the next caller, let me just say that the Citizenship by Investment program was approved. The real estate project was approved for the grant of citizenship in St. Lucia, and it was opened for investment in 2018. And the report is saying that between April 2022 to March 31st, 2023, some $52,842,000 was deposited into an escrow account. That is all we're being told. We want more details on this. Is who has access to that escrow account? Has that been verified that that money is there? If not, what has it been used for and who used it? We want to know. And that is for 2022-2023. And it's past due, sir, for you to tell us what has happened between April 1st, 2023 to March 31st, 2024. We want to know, because that's when you started the infrastructure program, and that's where all of the major questions lie. I have a caller on the line. Caller, I don't want to keep you waiting any longer. Welcome to Like It Is. Please go ahead and tell it like it is. I'm not hearing.
Hi.
I'm not hearing the caller.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Okay, I'm hearing you now, caller. Go ahead, please.
Can I say, let me tell you something. Yeah. Right there. Right there.
Go ahead, please, caller. Make your contribution.
You should have shame of yourself.
Okay, caller, we have no time for that. Take that somewhere else. If you have something constructive to say, you're welcome to tell it like it is. If you have nothing to say, be quiet and listen and be educated, be enlightened, you know, and let us shed some light for you so that you can be a little more enlightened in future. And for your edification, take note of what is being said here. Do we have another call online? I'm very happy to listen to people who have something to say, something constructive, whether you share in my view or not, but you have something constructive to say and you can defend it. We have another call online? Yes, so welcome to Like It Is. Caller, please go ahead and tell it like it is.
Hi, good evening, Spider.
Good evening, sir.
I'm always taken aback by some of these callers who are consistently asking apologies from the United Workers' Party. Yet they refuse to do the same for the SLP. It looks like the SLP has carte blanche to stay and do anything in this country, and yet they are not required to apologize. I mean, during the last campaign, there were lots and lots of examples where the SLP in opposition at the time, they were asked to make apologies. Somebody in a march said, we as black people, we don't want white people here. An apology was asked, that was not forthcoming. Another follower of the SLP said, put a bomb under the Prime Minister's seat. A request was made for them to disassociate themselves with that. That was not done. I mean, there are countless examples. So how come is it that they don't remember those things to ask for apology of their party, but always want the United Workers' Party people to make apologies? It's mind-boggling to me.
Well, that's the hypocrisy that, you know, that the example is set from the top, you know, caller, and that's the hypocrisy of the St. Lucia Labour Party. I mean, they can lie, they can spread propaganda, they can do as they please, but when you know, say your piece, they have a problem with it. If for my part, when I say what I have to say, I expect to be challenged, and I can substantiate and defend whatever it is that I say, because I don't come here making up stories. I don't have to, because the SLP gives us enough to talk about. You don't have to concoct or invent any story, because when you look at what is going on, I mean, I've not talked about health care. I've not talked about crime. I've not talked about the high cost of living. I'm simply talking about the CIP program tonight, where we have a minister who, not for the first time, have all kinds of allegations of corruption and illegality swirling around him. I mean, this is a man who comes into the job with a history of Jufali, with the history of the Range Rover, with his woes at the West Indies Cricket Board, and now, with in less than 3 years, all kinds of allegations. We find our program in a U.S. court, having to defend ourselves, to protect the program and to defend our reputation. I mean, and the minister does not think that this warrants an explanation to us, that we should be satisfied that all that is going on and all that is being said is not warranted and is not justified. I mean, he has to understand, he owes it to us. When you ask the minister how many passports were allotted and approved for a particular company, for Galaxy, he's saying to you that he has to get permission from that foreign company to tell us how many of our passports have been approved for that company. I mean, how ridiculous can it get? You know, and then you're going to go under the cover of the House tomorrow and make a presentation that you decide what it is you want to touch and what you want to say, and nobody gets an opportunity to question you. And I know that you will not be dealing with the pertinent questions that we St. Lucians really want answered. So you must subject yourself to a press conference. Yes, caller, do you have anything further?
Well, Mr. Mott, no, not at this point. I would just like to see some equity. You know, if you're going to ask people to apologize, I think you need to remember when your men were being insultive
fair enough.
And denigrating, you know, because I mean there are so many examples of that. I mean, we wouldn't know where to start and where to finish
Fair
when
enough.
it comes to insulting the the public, insulting the intelligence of St. Lucians and all that kind of thing. So I think people need to be a little more equitable. But I'll just encourage you to continue enlightening the people and telling them like it is.
Thank you, sir. And I will continue to do so. I will not be intimidated. I cannot be. And so I was talking about the $52,842,000 that was deposited into an escrow account. We want more details on that. That is our money. We want to know who is in control of it, whether it is still there, whether that account has been reconciled, and what is that money going to be used for, and if it has been used, what was it used for? We ought to know that. We want to know that. And I noticed too. Yes, we have a caller. Yes, caller, welcome to Like It Is. Please, this is your opportunity to tell it like it is. Go ahead, please.
Spider,
yes,
I heard you said the Prime Minister is saying other lies.
And you heard me right, sir.
Yeah. So then the opposition doesn't say no lies.
I didn't say the opposition doesn't say any lies. No, I didn't say that. You hearing things now?
I asked you. I asked.
You asked me. First of all, before I answer your question, don't you agree with me that the leader of the country, the Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, tells a lot of lies? Don't you agree with that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's lies.
Well, okay. Listen to like it is. Listen, just now, sir. Listen to like it is. You said you don't know. Let me just enlighten you. Listen to like it is on a regular basis, and make sure you're there for the start of the program. I'll be highlighting some of those lies, so you will know.
Let me tell you that the opposition says something, and then the Prime Minister says something else. So which one to believe?
The one that is telling the truth.
Oh, that's the truth. All right. I heard Alan Shafi somewhere in the U.S. last time they were there. Like, we have no business with the bank again. No response with the bank.
We have no what?
And then the following day.
We have no what?
We have no business with the bank again because of CIP. That we cannot do business with the bank again. Corresponding.
Caller, do like me.
Next day, I heard the bank say it is not true.
Okay, do like me, caller. We see when you're coming up with your stories, substantiate them. Send me to like we have the internet, you have social media. Send me to where I can see what you're saying there. I don't even send you. I show you on my program the lies that are being told by our government.
Alan didn't say that about we have no we cannot have a responsibility.
No, I didn't even say that. No.
With the bank. And then next, the Bank of Solution come out and say it's not true?
No, I didn't hear Alan say that, no.
Mama.
Papa.
And then you telling me it's one alone, all of your lying because you said that.
Caller, you have another contribution? You have another question for me or you have a contribution to make? Please go ahead.
Last time you said the Labour Party won the election on lies alone.
Okay, thank you, caller. I don't think you have anything more to say. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, do we have another caller? Okay, I just want to take a look here at the statement of the financial position of the CIP unit, so the CIU, that's the Citizens by Investment Unit, as at March 31st, 2023. I'll come back to that. We have a caller on the line. Caller, good evening. Welcome to Like It Is. Go ahead and tell it like it is.
Bonsoir. Moi, je parle dans Creole parce que c'est si même Creole. Because un chay moun ka koute so ka try koute Creole.
Faut aller non moi, faut aller.
Oui, babo di so yon bagay. Babo mande serré basa la. Est-ce que ici c'est ça yo? Est-ce qu'il yon qui ni droit pour parler cette ici? Le bagay ka affecté yo. Moi vraiment déceler basa la. Sauf il y a son parler encore dit flambeau pas te ka supporter jeune moun qui est dans sport. Mais regardez ça qui arrive, jeune petit boy Gosiléa, qui manie Pelius.
Ça va bon ou pas?
Oui, ça c'est un parfait exemple. Parce que ça dit, les yo l'autre pays, ça kay ouvert, c'est vers prix, il kay fait yo apprendre prix. Pour qui? So qui dit toute la CIP, so dit toute qualité l'argent qu'a bay moun en commune. Oubliez dis-moi, yon moun commissaire qui a by West Indies under whatever. So
under 19.
Mais sauf le vite. Moi me dis so yon bagay yo swear. So suppose ça van chay moun ka try couiller, so wa swear pour yo infiltrer Spanda et que filtrer Flambeau. Mais vous avez ça, c'est pour ça que Pem Marvin Charles, because we have to vision. ouais, tout ces satakou yo oswe là. Yo a une top up. Depuis bon matin. Et puis on dit yo les réunions ouvertes. Make sure yo couillé chaud. Mais avant moi parti, moi voulais simplifier ça avant bagay calé là. Actuellement les bani tactique clip. Les bas tellement desperate. Yo stop yo a prier dedans. Yo ni toute qualité clip. Et vous pas chimé ouais moun menti ko ha. Yo qui te pli qui te bouche moi gonvel maintenant madame dit step là aide tellement l'année ça là. Il ni commis avec step là c'est vrai ici l'école. Madame, les baka payo. Écoutez, because nous tout ça c'est state just step qui te ni ou pas une fils good comment est $300 ça veut tout sous l'école. Maman c'est ici, moi voulais nous rester focus. Parce que Flobo, ça qu'a fait un bon travail. Les autres viennent parler, ça qu'a parlé fax. C'est pas insulter, ça qu'a insulter moun, c'est pas chiwer, ça qu'a chiwer moun. Mais gardez les bons en power. Yo dit pour Prime Minister l'autre pays. Ça c'est troisième Prime Minister. Yo a mené cette liste pour dérespecter cette liste.
Ok.
Roy Gonzalo ni pris toi ka on dit dans CV.
Ok, tant qu'à courir sur nous avons venu pour bout programme, mais avant nous, bout, moi, voulais, y a des débats, moi, pour dire. So, moi, voulais remercier pour contribution, mais moi, juste qu'à faire, vous savez que, pas si prix, vous avez offensé, parce que la vérité, c'est bagaille qui a offensé.
C'est ça. C'est pas molly.
Right, merci.
All right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of the program, I just want to put up some clips, a clip or two, to show you what is taking place. While Ernest Hilaire is pretending, when asked by Lisa Joseph about the owner of BMAX, Mr. Alexander, okay, and his record as being involved, having been arrested and jailed for criminal activity, running a criminal organization and smuggling, the minister said he had just heard the news. He doesn't know anything about it and that he was going to find out. A lot of time has elapsed. Time has passed. It is not difficult to get information on BMAX and the owner of BMAX. And I know that if the minister is really serious and he really cares, he has the information. So I would have expected that by now, you would have made a statement to St. Lucia indicating that you're disassociating yourself with any criminal element from becoming a part of our CIP program. Instead, what I see recently, you know, you have continued with it, you have said nothing. In the case of Galaxy, you have refused to answer questions about how many of our passports you have issued to them, how many of our passports have been sold, and how much of our money that is, you know, wherever it is, whether it is an escrow account, who is holding that money, what is that money being used for? You have not answered those questions. But I saw you, sir, at Harbour Club, in the company of the very Galaxy people who are said to be owing St. Lucians, who are said to be owing Lucilec, who have not hired many St. Lucians, have Chinese workers here, and we want you to rectify those situations. And you said too that you had to get permission from them. I'm hoping that you took that opportunity then to get the permission that you needed so that tomorrow you can enlighten us and give us the facts on our CIP program. I think we're not going to take any more calls. Let's look at those clips. This is the man himself, Dr. Hilaire, with officials of Galaxy. Here is Mr. Emmanuel, the CEO. Two gentlemen, Mr. Emmanuel and Dr. Ernest, who should by now have been relieved of their duties from one, the CIP unit, and the other as CIP minister. The two of them are still on the job, rubbing shoulders with the people who they accuse of being involved in corruption with. Next clip, yes, one happy family. The people who are not allowing our minister to tell us what is happening to our CIP money, what is happening to our passports. They're posing and smiling and laughing at us, St. Lucians. Yeah, that is what is happening in our country. You know, it is time, yeah. The glasses are knocking, the champagne is being drunk. You know, that is what is happening while we are here suffering. Our hospitals, and while our hospital is out of supplies, no medication, and doctors and nurses and administrative staffs are living in droves. Minister, my last question to you, and I want you to answer that question tomorrow. First of all, tell us, has Galaxy given you permission to report to the people who employed you as to how many passports were, first of all, allocated, approved, and how many have been sold by Galaxy, how much money has been made by Galaxy by the sale of our passports, what is that money being used for, where is that money, who is in control of that money? We want to know. That is one of the questions we want answered tomorrow. The next thing you must tell us is, are you still doing business with criminal elements from Montenegro who are involved in criminal organizations and smuggling? Are you still doing business with them, putting our program in jeopardy and putting the reputation of our country in jeopardy? St. Lucians, as we come to the end of the show,
Hot 7 TV is the rising star of television in St. Lucia with our stunning 100% HD quality, fresh exciting programming, including a balanced professional newscast. We are now the fastest growing TV station in all time slots on cable. Additionally, over 10,000 households carry our plug and play antennas. Our mobile app has over 11,000 users locally and over 300,000 users worldwide. Keyword to find our free app in the App Store is Caribbean Hot FM. Swipe once for Kiss FM. Swipe twice for Hot 7 TV. It's compatible with both Android and Apple handsets. Go ahead, share the app, and share the most talked about TV station in St. Lucia. Hot 7 TV, for the viewer and the advertiser. It just makes sense. We watch trending. Hot 7 TV. Catch us on channel 117 Flow, channel 7 Plug and Play, or our website www.caribbeanhot7tv.com and our popular Hot FM app.
To advertise on Hot 7 TV, call us at 452-6040 or email us at hot7@caribbeanhottv.com. A fantastic package awaits you.
And now, please welcome your valedictorian, Alex Dunphy.
Where are my mom and dad?
And in this corner, finishing first in her class, delivering the commencement address, weighing in at... What do you weigh, honey?
Dad!
A healthy amount for a girl her age. Are you getting all this, buddy?
Pure gold.
She's the main brain, the cerebellum of the ball, Alex Dunphy!
Oh, keep rolling. The news will want this footage when I eventually snap. I thought Sanjay Patel was first in the class. He was until he missed a few weeks and the robot he was building attacked him.
What's happening?